All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm teacher Nathan from Writers at Work. This morning, we'll be looking at Nan Hua Primary School P6 Prelim from 2023. Let's wait for more of our friends to join us before we delve right into the paper. All right. Without further ado, let's look at the grammar questions first. Question 1. Practically every member of my family dash when they sleep. Over here, we're interested in tenses. Looking at the keywords, we have every member. This word every signifies that we are looking at a singular subject. Now, just for everybody's information, when we have words like everyone, every, yeah, I think that's it. When you have these words, then you need to always continue with a singular subject. Okay, so for our question here is quite straightforward. The answer would be number 2, snores when they sleep. Just take note, I zoom in on the present tense because when they sleep. So this is a habit. When we have habits, it will always be in the present tense. Now let's take a look at some of the options given to us. The first two are pretty straightforward. They are both in the present tense. And as mentioned earlier, snores with the S is in the singular form, while snore is plural. Next, we have snored. Over here, this is past tense. And lastly, snoring is in the present continuous form. So this means that you need to add is or are at the start of the sentence, or rather before snoring. You will use the present continuous form when you want to show an ongoing action as you speak. All right, moving on, we have question 2 here. The man told the tourist, "I'm afraid there is dash information that I can give to you about this place. I have not visited the place myself either." Over here, we are interested in determiners. These are words that convey the quantity of a subject. Now, when we have determiners questions, the keyword that we are looking at will tell you the quantity and whether it is uncountable or countable. Looking at our question here, we observe that the person have not visited the place, so he knows very little about the place. So the quantity is very low. Next, we observe that we are looking at information, which is uncountable. As such, when we zoom in on our options, the answer will be number 2, little, because it satisfies these two criteria. All right. Now let's take a look at the other options given. Few here is used for countable subjects. I have a few pens on my table. Much here is uncountable. He put in much effort in his homework. Lastly, many is countable. There are many students in the school. Okay. It's great to see more and more people joining us. And if you have any questions, do feel free to type them in the comment section and I'll answer them as and when they come. All right, let's go on to question 3. The judges made dash a unanimous decision to give Mark dash honorary award. So over here, we are interested in articles. Articles are basically used to identify specific nouns in the sentence. And we will use the articles based on whether they are vowels and in some cases whether we are looking at the main subject. So when we are looking at vowels, it will either be A or N. When we look at a main subject of the sentence, it will be the. However, for this question here, there isn't a main subject, so we will not consider this. And we are just looking at the vowels here. Now, looking at the 2 words after my article, unanimous and honorary. Please take note, when you pronounce unanimous, it starts with a Y-O-U, unanimous. As such, we will consider this a non-vowel. And looking at honorary, the pronunciation starts with O, honorary. As such, we will consider this a vowel. So we can quickly decipher our answer as number 2, a unanimous decision to give Mark an honorary award. Please take note, this is a very special question and there will not be any other cases where a non-vowel is placed before a vowel. Okay, a non-vowel article, so together with the unanimous here. Okay, this is just the only special case. Alright, if there are no further questions, let's take a look at question 4. Mary's mother is very strict. She will not be allowed to attend the picnic dash she finishes her homework. For this question here, we are interested in conjunctions, which are basically your linking words. And we observe that there are a few keywords to take note. Not allowed and finishes the homework. So on the top here, not allowed is our outcome. And at the bottom here, finishes the homework is a specific condition. So we are looking at a conjunction to show how this condition has to be fulfilled first in order for the outcome to change. Looking at our options, if is used to show the condition of something. While is used to show concurrent activity. Unless is used to show criteria. And because it's used to show reason. We will very quickly narrow down our choice to criteria and condition of something, because these two are the most plausible answers. So let's analyze which one we will choose. When we use if here, we are looking at a particular cause-effect relationship. However, if we use unless, we are looking at one specific condition. Okay, the keyword is one. So let me give you an example for if. If you don't line up, you will be booked by the prefect. In our sentence here, you observe that the outcome, booked by the prefect, can have many reasons. You can cut the queue, you can turn up late for school, you can disobey his instructions. So we have multiple conditions here. Multiple conditions that will lead to the same outcome. However, for unless, we are just looking at one specific condition that needs to be fulfilled in order for the outcome to occur. Looking back at our question, we observe that there is only one condition, which is Mary finishing her homework. And the outcome will be she will be allowed to attend the picnic. As such, our answer here will be number 3, unless. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at question 5. Melody's father prefers dash books to watching television in his free time. We are interested in tenses here. And the keyword that we have is watching. Watching here is in the continuous form. That means that he is engaging in the activity as we talk. Yep, okay, Marky is quite fast. Number 2. Yes, number 2 is the correct answer because reading here is also in the continuous form. So when we have one sentence, the verbs in the sentence need to be of the same form when the situation allows. For this case, we're just looking at 2 different activities that somebody may have a liking for as we speak. All right. Now let's take a look at the other options to understand why we don't choose them. Read here is in the present tense, or it can also be in the past tense or the past participle tense. So when we are looking at the past tense, we will pronounce it as read. Past participle will be had, read. Okay? Has read here. This is in the present perfect tense, which means that my action is completed, but the effect is still felt. For example, I have read the news and want to know more about the situation. So we are looking at how the action of reading the newspaper has been completed, but the curiosity, which is an effect of reading, is still being felt. Lastly, let's take a look at having read. This here is in the past participle form. Okay, I'm referring to the word read. And we will use this usually at the start of a sentence. And this is usually used to refer to something the author previously mentioned or previously done. All right. For example, having read the news, John informed his mother of the supermarket promotion. So we are looking at how the act of looking at the newspaper is something that the author or the subject had completed. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information, and if anyone needs clarification, please do sound out. If not, let's go on to question 6. After completing the marathon, Henry congratulated Dash on a job well done. So we are looking at pronouns here. And we observe the keyword is Henry. Which is just one person. And it's a boy. So our answer will be he congratulated himself. Now, why do we use all these words? Myself, himself. These are known as your intensive personal pronouns. And we use them to emphasize the noun, which is the person Henry or the boy or whoever the author is. This is pretty straightforward. So let's go on. The restaurant is only open dash the day. So we're interested in prepositions here. Prepositions are used to indicate the relationship of nouns and other words in the sentence. So looking at our keyword, we're looking at day, which is a particular time period. Now moving on to our options, I will zoom in on number 3, during, because this is the only preposition that shows a time period. And that will be my answer. To understand the other options, let's take a look at option 1. At shows location. Mother is at the clinic now. From shows a source. I bought my chicken rice from the coffee shop. Between shows a position of something. The tree is planted between 2 buildings. Hello, Deadpool. Moving on, let's take a look at question 8. She's been studying Mandarin for years. Dash asked John. So over here, we're interested in question tag questions. The keyword we need to be looking at is she's. So this can mean she is or she has. Now we need to take a look at, we need to ask ourselves which of this is correct. So how do we determine? We'll look at the next keyword here, been. Been tells me that it's in past participle, which means that my action is completed in the past. And you can take a look here, ask John. This really tells me the sentence is in the past tense. As such, I cannot be looking at is because is used when we in the present tense. As such, I'll be zooming in on she has. And over here, if I were to rewrite it, it will be she has been studying, which is in the positive connotation. The blank here needs to be my negative connotation. As such, my answer would be number 4, hasn't. Now, if we were to look at the 3 words, has been studying together, this is what we call the past perfect continuous tense, which tells me that the action of studying was ongoing when second action occurred. From the sentence, the second action will be John asking the author this question. All right. Moving on to question 9. Although the weather forecast has predicted heavy rains, the group of friends dash still going to the park. So we're interested in a subject-verb agreement question here. First thing to note is group. This is singular. And there's a weather forecast. And we are looking at how this going to the park is also in the future. So when we are looking at future events, we will use present tense. So present tense singular, we will only have one option, number 1, is. This is also one of the more straightforward questions that you shouldn't spend too much time on. Lastly, I have question 10. I dash to reach the internet company all morning, but I cannot seem to get through. I will try again later. Over here, we are interested in tenses. The keyword I have is all morning, which tells me that the action has been started in the past and is still continuing now. So in order to show this continuity in action, the answer that we are interested in is number 4. Because have been trying is in the present perfect continuous tense. Which shows that an action began in the past and is still continuing currently. Do note that we are looking at I, that's why we will use have. If I change the subject to the boy, or maybe I change it to Jenny, then it will be has been trying to show, because this is for singular. Alright. So has and have been trying both are present perfect continuous tenses. Just that one is for singular and have is for plural subjects. Let's look at option 1 now. Shall try. This is known as our simple future tense. And we'll use this to show actions that will occur in the future. Next is am trying. This is also the same as is or are trying. All of these are in the present continuous tense. Which means that my action is ongoing at the time of speaking. Okay, so let me just highlight the difference. All morning means started in the past and is still continuing now. The difference between present continuous and present perfect continuous is present perfect continuous started in the past, while present continuous means that the action is ongoing as you speak, and it probably started at around the same time as you talk. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information for these 5 questions, and if there are any clarifications, please sound out in the chat. Moving on, we have some vocabulary questions here. Question 11 reads, the birthday planner organized a dash party which matched the status of the affluent family. So over here, we are interested in match the status of a affluent, which tells me is a rich family. So the party needs to be very grand. That is my thought process. So I will look for a word that can convey the meaning of grand or very lavish. Option 1, vivacious, means that something is attractive, and it usually refers to a woman who is attractive and enthusiastic. Delectable and scrumptious, option 4, both describe food that is delicious or very tasty. Lastly, sumptuous, option 3, is used to show something is expensive looking and splendid. So our keyword informs us that we are looking at someone who is rich. So likely they will be looking at a party that reveals their status to other people. So we'll use number 3, sumptuous. Moving on, question 12. Despite having lived in Japan for 5 years, my aunt still encounters difficulty communicating dash with the local. So we're looking at how when you want to talk to people who are the Japanese, you need to speak in a way that they can understand you. So they need to understand what aunt is saying. Now looking at our options, the first one is informally, which tells me something is in a relaxed manner. So if you have an informal dialogue with the minister, it means that you are just having a chit chat with him. Effectively here means that you can achieve a desired outcome. Exclusively or exclusive means that something is limited to a small group of people. Interestingly means something will arouse curiosity. So for our question here, the locals need to understand what my aunt is saying, and that is a particular outcome. As such, our answer will be number 2, effectively. Moving on, question 13 reads, the shoes are the perfect dash to the entire outfit. Now she is ready for the ball. So we are looking at how shoes and the outfit go hand in hand. First option is compliant, which means that you follow the rules or standards. Completion means you finish something. Compliment with the I here means that you praise or admire someone. Lastly, compliment with the E means you make something better by combining it. And this is basically what the shoes and the entire outfit, what the shoes does to the entire outfit. So we will use number 4, complement with the E. Lastly, let's take a look at question 14 now. Philip was clearly wrong, but he refused to dash and apologize. So over here, when you are in the wrong, you expect someone to admit their mistake. But Philip refused to this. So we are looking at something like admitting a mistake. And the options here are all what we call phrasal verbs. These consist of a preposition as well as a verb. And the meaning of a phrasal verb can be very different from its verb or preposition when you take them apart. Okay, and the only way to gain knowledge of this is through practice and reading. First one, back up means that you support or help someone. SB means somebody. Back out means that you decide not to do something you said you will do. So usually you will back out from a plan. Back away means that you move backwards. Because you are afraid. Lastly, back down means that you admit you were wrong. And this is basically what the question is looking for. When Philip did not admit that he's in the wrong. So our answer will be number 4. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at question 15. On National Day, I enjoyed watching the display of fireworks from my room window. So we're looking at an adjective to describe fireworks, which basically is something that is very beautiful, very scenic. So the first one is radiant, which means something is shining brightly. Usually we refer to some bright light. Shocking here means something is offensive or upsetting. Mediocre means something is average or not very good. AVE means average. It's a short form. While exemplary means something is desirable, or you can be a role model. So when we look at fireworks, it's basically your some gunpowder substance that lights up the sky. So there's an element of lighting here. So our closest option is number 1, radiant. Okay. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information here before we move on to our next section. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask me in the comment section. And if you know the answer for some of the questions, please also do not hesitate to type them in the comment section, and I'll tell you whether you are right or wrong. Okay, if there are no further questions, let's look at our vocabulary close. So what will happen is will be I'll read through the text with you and we'll go through the underlined words. Once we have an understanding of the text, we'll look at the options and choose our correct answer. The text reads, Tommy was a mischievous boy who loved to play pranks on his friends and family. One day his aunt, who was easily startled, paid him a visit. Startled means someone is easily shocked or like easily afraid. So that gave him a perfect opportunity to come up with a prank. So come up means that means you suggest or you think of an idea. The plan was going to be foolproof. Foolproof means something is unable to go wrong. Crouched in the dark corner of the house, he lay in wait for his aunt to stroll past. As his unsuspecting aunt passed by, Tommy jumped out, shouting at the top of his lungs. Taken aback, his aunt stumbled and fell. Taken aback means someone is surprised or shocked by something. Letting out a sharp cry. She was then taken to hospital for treatment. Tommy felt an overwhelming sense of guilt and regret. Overwhelming means the amount is overflowing. So he probably felt very, very bad. Probably he cannot sleep without thinking of the consequences. His plan to make his aunt laugh had backfired. Plan here means the intention to do something. Realizing the gravity of his actions, he promised to change his way and never play a prank again. Gravity means importance or seriousness. Alright, let's take a look at the options for question 16. Question 16 is come out with. The meaning is you suggest or think of an idea. The first option we have is devise. Devise means think carefully or invent something. Construct means that you build something from or with different parts. Next, we have reproduce, which means to produce offspring. And lastly, implement means you plan or start a system. Since we are looking at thinking of an idea and coming out with the idea, the closest option we have would be number 1. Because when you think carefully, you will be able to come up with certain ideas, certain plans that that doesn't come about easily. Next thing, question 17 tests you on foolproof. Foolproof means something is unable to go wrong. No, there will not be any mistakes to something. So looking at our options, the first option we have is infallible, which means never wrong. There is no mistakes. Invincible means too powerful to be defeated. Incredible means something is impossible to be believed. Lastly, indescribable means something cannot be described in words accurately because the emotions are too extreme. So for example, somebody won $1 million in lottery. The joy is indescribable because he never experienced that kind of happiness. Now we're just looking back at our question. Foolproof means something cannot go wrong, which means number 1, infallible. It's impossible to commit some mistake. Question 18 tests you on taken aback, which means you are surprised or shocked by something. So looking at our options, the first one is infuriated, which means that you are angry and impatient. Dismayed means that you are unhappy and disappointed. Aggravate means you make a situation worse. Lastly, flabbergasted means you are surprised and astonished. So you did not expect something to happen, but it happened. Then you'll be flabbergasted. You don't know how to respond to it. So the question is looking at how someone is surprised and you are basically shocked by what happened. So you can see that some words here are quite similar. Infuriated and dismayed have the element of angriness or unhappiness, and this will not be considered because we are just looking at the element of shock. So our answer will be number 4, flabbergasted. Aggravate, when you make a situation worse, there needs to be some contextual clues that tell you that the situation was made worse. For example, Tommy's brother joined in and pranked on his aunt, so it aggravated the situation. Okay? But if not, taken aback and flabbergasted are synonymous or have similar meaning with one another. Now, question 19, plan. Plan means that you intend to do something. So looking at our options here, the first one is ambition. Ambition tells me a strong desire to achieve something. Next, we have intention, which means that you plan to do something. Resolution means that you have a firm decision or something. While proposition is a business suggestion or offer. So our word that the word tested here is plan, which means that you have some intention to do something. So the closest option is intention. Okay, so the answer is number 2. Now moving on to question 20. Gravity. Gravity means the importance or the seriousness of something. Okay, so we can upfront declare our answer is number 2 because seriousness is a direct synonym of gravity. Seriousness means that something is in the serious state, or it means that there are very real consequences to something. Now let's take a look at the other options to learn vocabulary. Foolishness here means you are stupid or you lack judgment. That means you cannot make the decision very well. Recklessness means no regard for danger. While inappropriateness means something is unsuitable or wrong for a situation. So for example, if you are invited to a formal dinner and you go in a singlet, that's inappropriate. Okay, I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information for this section before we move on to our grammar close. If you'd like to clarify any questions, feel free to type them in the comment section and I'll answer them as they come. Okay, moving on, looking at our grammar close now. Dreams remain a mystery that sleep experts are determined to solve. Different cultures have developed their own ways of understanding what our dreams mean. So we are looking at different cultures. This is plural. And the word here is used to replace the plural pronoun. So we will use the pronoun theirs. Okay, their own ways of understanding what our dreams mean. Dash psychology, the process of assigning meanings to dream is referred to as dream interpretation. So psychology here is a particular subject, just like your school subject, science or math. So we are looking at some theory that is derived, or when you study the subject, then you will know. So we will use the preposition in, okay, to show how dream interpretation is derived, or you learn it when you take the subject psychology. It is seen as a helpful way to learn about dash our minds work. So when you look at how the minds work or your brain function, we are looking at a method. So in order to exemplify the method that we use, we will use the word how. Hello, 小魔鬼. Dreams are taught to show our deepest wants, fears, and worries. By looking at our dreams, we can learn about our hidden thoughts and feelings. There are many ways to interpret dreams. Dash are traditional, like looking at the symbols in the dream, while others are dash modern, like keeping a dream journal or trying to control your dreams. So for question 32 here, we are looking at how there are only a few traditional ways and how there are also a few modern ways. So we'll use the word some because we need to tell people what is the quantity here. The quantity isn't specified high or low, but there's just a few of such methods. Now, question 33 tests you on a comparison. That some are more old-fashioned or more traditional, while some are more recent. So we'll use the word more here to compare the time the dream interpretation method was introduced. Some people think that dreams are dash way for our unconscious mind, which contains feelings and thoughts we were unaware of. So this is just one way, singular. And way is a non-vowel. So we'll say it's just away, are away. To contain the feelings and thoughts we are unaware of. To talk to us and show us that we really are. So when we talk about we are looking at humans. So the closest option we have to describe or replace the human beings that is us is who we really are. Even though lots of people are interested in interpreting dreams, there is a debate about whether it is scientifically valid practice. So over here, we are highlighting that this debate of interpreting dreams is ongoing. So you're trying to emphasize that the information that we have now is not the most up to date. So we use the word still. Okay. Some studies have shown that certain symbols in dreams dash be connected to specific feelings or experiences. So we are looking at a particular, very good, 小魔鬼, 36 is L. And for 37 here, we are looking at this possibility. So that is connected to specific feelings or emotions. So we'll use a modal auxiliary verb might here to express this uncertainty or this possibility. Dash others have not found any proof that dreams have a definite meaning. So we are looking at how there are some studies to show dreams being connected or related to the experience, and concurrently there are people who have not found any proof that dreams have meaning. So to show this concurrent action, the conjunction or the linking word that we'll use is wow. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information shared for the grammar close before we move on to our next section. Alright, moving on to our editing section. Miss Lee has an incredible story to share. When she was a child, she faced discrimination because she has a disability. So question 39 is a spelling error. Or rather, it tests you on your spelling skills. So just take note of how you spell discrimination. This is not too difficult because this is obviously a wrong word, and you just use your phonics or your pronunciation to derive the answer. People would bully, tease, and stare at her because she was different. But something dash happened. So we are looking at how something you are describing this thing as amazing. So this is an adjective. And amaze is a verb. Amaze it means someone is just shocked. With the support of her family and a charity organization. Okay, very good, Danish. So here we're not looking at charity in itself, but you're describing the organization as charitable. Again, this is an adjective. Okay. She was able to follow her interests and grow into the talented, artistic, and passionate individual she is today. So this is another spelling mistake here. Passionate. Miss Louis has a deep love dash singing. So we're looking at this passion, and the elaboration is behind on what the passion is. So the preposition that we'll use here is you have deep love for singing. But that's not all. She also has a keen interest in drawing, writing, and dancing. Her heartwarming journey. So this is a spelling error again. Is being featured in a new film created by Community Chess. This film dashed the stories of individuals. So we are looking at a firm, one firm singular. So it will be tells the story of individuals who have dash challenges in their lives. So individuals here is a plural subject, many people. So it will be who have overcome the challenges. Okay, it should not be in the continuous form. Instead, it should be in the present perfect form, have overcome, to show that the action is completed, but the effect is still felt. This effect is inspiring people and are shining and their lives in their lives and are shining bright. So for this question here, they are shining brightly. The ly is to emphasize that the action of shining is still ongoing. It calls upon the public to join in supporting and championing the potential of people with disabilities. Question 48 here is a spelling error again. In addition to her creative pursuits, another spelling error, so take note. Miss Lee also has a part-time job as a retail assistant. She dash support from a job placement program funded by Community Chess. Here, this is a spelling error, so it should be received. Okay? And that's it for our editing. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information I shared. And if you have any questions regarding editing the text itself, please sound out in the chat. Okay, let's go on to our comprehension close now. Gaming addiction affects people of all ages, particularly young people. Symptoms of gaming addiction include obsessive thinking about the game, Dash of interest in other activities, poor concentration and work performance, strained relationships, social isolation, and decline in physical health and hygiene. So over here, we are looking at how when you have obsessive thinking, that means you think about it all the time. This means that your interest in other activities would decrease. So we will say there is a loss or a lack of interest in other activities. Strained relationships, social isolation, and a decline in physical health and hygiene. Dash to scientific research, addiction is brought about by psychological, social, and environmental factors. So over here, we are interested in scientific research. So this is our source. So we will say according to the scientific research. One major cause of any kind of addiction, dash a brain chemical called dopamine, also dash as the feel-good hormone. So we are looking at how this addiction is related to the dopamine. So we will say one kind of addiction involves the brain chemical. And we are looking at how dopamine has another name, feel-good hormone. So these two are the same thing, the same subject. So you'll say it's also known as the feel-good hormone. Yeah, very good, me. It is released in response dash a pleasurable experience. So when you respond, you always respond to, because the pleasurable experience here is a particular situation. So it's your normal cause and effect reaction. It also makes a person develop a strong dash to seek out the same pleasure again and again. So when you have something that is pleasurable, that is something you enjoy, you have that urge or that desire to seek out the thing again. Seek out, that means you want a repeat of the same pleasure. So you also could use the term the same drive or the same need, okay, to seek out the same pleasure. When gamers dash a goal or a new level, dopamine is released. So when you have a goal, the action word to link it together is when you achieve a goal. Okay, or you can say when you obtain or you attain. Motivating them to keep dash. So we are looking at the gamers. So the action that they will usually do is to keep playing, or you can say to keep trying, or to keep gaming. Eventually, they get stuck in a cycle in which they are increasingly engrossed in gaming while dash other tasks. So our word engross here means that you are focused fully on the gaming. And because of this high level of focus, you may neglect. So while neglecting other tasks, or you can be forgetting other tasks because you are just too focused already. Or even worse, you may ignore other tasks. So you know you need to do, but you purposely don't do it. Dash factor that contributes to gaming addiction is socialization. So over here, you can see that this is a number 2 factor. The first factor is dopamine here. Okay, so in this case, we will use the word another to show how we are looking at the second point. Many online games allow players to interact with one another. This develops a dash of belonging to their online communities. So we're interested in this belonging, is this feeling. So we'll use the term the sense of belonging. These three words will always come together. However, in extreme cases, shy and introverted individuals may dash to gaming as their main source of social life, resulting in addiction. So we can see how the introvert individuals means that they don't have a lot of friends, and because of this, the action is that you will go to this gaming. So you will say they turn to gaming, they resort to gaming. So the gaming here is your outcome. Okay, it's a main source of social life resulting in addiction. The home environment is a key factor in gaming addiction too. Children and teens who have dash access to gaming devices and little supervision from their parents are more dash to form an addiction. So we are looking at the kind of access. So when there is little supervision, it means that you can probably have free access or you have ready access. That means you can go and take your PS5 and play as and when you like. Okay. Other words is you have complete access. That means no one is going to stop you. The clues here are very generic. They don't tell you exactly what's the level of parental control. That's why you have the autonomy to use any word to show that the children can just take the gaming device and play. So when this happens, when they have the full when their access is gained easily and their parents don't really check on them, this means that they are more uh likely, or can say they are more susceptible. That means they are have the higher risk of developing an addiction. Okay, gaming addiction is no laughing dash. By understanding its contributing factors, we may prevent its formation among our friends and loved ones. So when you talk about laughing, it's usually a laughing matter. It is something that we take very lightly or we don't take seriously. For question 65, there isn't an alternative answer. It's always the case like that. All right, I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information I shared for our compre close. I would say most of the questions here aren't really challenging. So this is good practice. Okay. If you have any questions with regards to comprehension close or the text itself, do sound out in the chat and we will discuss. Lastly, let's take a look at our comprehension, our synthesis and transformation. All the pupils in class 6J are attending the party. Mr. Tan is also attending the party. So we are looking at how there are two different groups of people, the pupils in class 6J and Mr. Tan. So we will say all the pupils in class 6J together with Mr. Tan. Take note, all the pupils, this is plural. So we will say are attending the party. Next, question 67 is your reporter speech question. So let's highlight the words that we need to change. I can, you. So Ken needs to change to could she pass him. So Cindy asked where she could pass him the book later. Now looking at question 68, the manager amended the plan before presenting it to his client. So amended here is a verb, it's an action word. And now we are looking at a noun. So amended will be changed to amendments. Before presenting it to the client. Alright, so this is our answer. Now looking at question 69, her parents shook their heads. They disapproved of her decision. So we are looking at the disapproved from a verb needs to be changed into a noun. So it will be in disapproval of her decision. Okay. Lastly, question 70. John did not do his part for the group project. Ken was annoyed. So over here, annoyed is a verb, it's an action word, and we want to change it to a noun. So it will be much to Ken's annoyance. John did not do his part for the group project. So you can see for this synthesis and transformation set, quite a few questions actually test you on your ability to change the word form. Well, I'll say that it's not very fair in the sense that they're testing you the same thing, and if you are not very good at it, you are being penalized like 3 times. But the word form changes here are quite common in a sense that they're not very difficult words. So if you are unsure of how to change them, I highly encourage you to remember and learn from this exercise. Okay. Yes, and now we have come to the end of our our morning section here, where we are looking at Nan Hua P6 paper. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm teacher Nathan from Writers at Work. And if you have friends that are in the O-level stream or taking secondary school English, please encourage them to join me at 12, where we'll be looking at an O-level paper. For our primary 5 or primary 6 friends who hope to learn English with me again, do join me this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. where we will be looking at a Patron School paper P6 Prelim 2023. And for some of you who want to have some daily revision of English with me, do join me tomorrow morning at 10:30 again, and we'll be taking a look at some of the primary 5 past year exam papers, okay, on Thursday and Fridays. So once again, thank you for joining me. I'm teacher Nathan, and I will see everybody in a bit. Bye bye.